Okay, welcome back to Sports Weekly MN. I'm Duff, and with me is Joe, my brother and co-host. How you guys doing, Joe?
I'm doing good. How are you, Duff?
Yeah, we're doing okay.
Good.
Let's see here. Yeah, just a busy week. Had to take Will up to the pediatrician to get his flu shot yesterday. That worked okay. And then tomorrow he's taking the day off of school because it's Thanksgiving in the U.S., so we can Skype and FaceTime and Zoom and Google Hangout, all sorts of people.
You guys having a turkey?
No, we
Oh,
did for Thanksgiving back in October.
well, you can have a turkey again.
We could had I bought another one at the store and gone through the thing, but I have leftover stuffing, like the mix. So maybe we'll make some
Yeah, there you go.
stuffing mix and yeah.
Well, we're gonna have some turkey over here. So
Oh, good. And let's see, you got mom and dad some nice flowers and like, is it beef jerky or what were all the things that you got for them anyway?
yeah, there was some buffalo sticks, there was some elk sticks, some elk burgers, and then some like wild rice breakfast sausage.
Nice,
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah, and then a big basket and with a bunch of flowers in it for mom. So
Okay.
we can't really get together this year, and it's a major bummer. So we
Yeah,
thought we'd try to do a little bit of fun and spread some joy that way.
yeah. I guess for us, it's not really that different because we never come home for Thanksgiving anyway. For the last 15 years or whatever it's been, we usually come home in the summer and just for Christmas. So the summer felt weird not having, like, usually we take an August trip to Minnesota. That didn't happen this year. And usually we come home for Christmas, and that's not going to happen either. So anyway, so we've got quite a few things to cover this week. So let's dive in. I've got a little better organizing on my screen shares. So let's do this. So people may remember last fall when the Minnesota State High School League hiked the fees like a tremendous amount, like a factor of 3 more than what schools used to be paying. And so instead of paying like $5 per student who participated in athletics, they might be paying $15 per student. So, and this is recovered, of course, by the fees that the schools charge to the students who participate in the activity. But ultimately, it's a ton of money. But in any case, so that was like back in September, I think, when the Minnesota State High School League had this 300% increase in the fees. And just yesterday, they released that somehow somebody in the Minnesota State High School League convinced the legislature to give them $500,000. This was in some COVID-19 relief bill that the Minnesota legislature passed. So the state of Minnesota, the taxpayers in Minnesota, gave $500,000 to the Minnesota State High School League, which is a private entity, to continue doing what they do. I don't know exactly what their expenses are.
And do you think insurance?
No, well, maybe. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Really, what we should do is try and contact somebody in the Minnesota State High School League and get them on here on the podcast.
I mean, they probably have a few employees to, set up tournaments and all that jazz.
Right.
But
I don't know. I always felt like it was kind of like the NCAA. It was this weird middleman that just makes money, and I don't know really what they do. Presumably, they have some purpose. In any case,
I think they sanction all the umpires and they get all that set up for the schools, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. We should look into it and try and see if somebody from the league will come on the podcast here and tell us about it.
Sure.
In any case, I'm a little bit skeptical, but I don't know. So I think my skepticism comes from the NCAA and how all the controversies that the NCAA is constantly involved in.
I wonder if they don't put on a bunch of camps and things that way to help educate coaches, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, that could
I'm
be.
just kind of guessing.
I mean, the main thing I think that they do is put on the tournaments. So
Mhm.
like the big hockey tournament, you know, in March every year,
Mhm.
or the prep football tournaments or whatever it is. I think they kind of organize that. In any case, so the taxpayer, so rather than the students and the schools having their fees raised so much, now the state of Minnesota taxpayers are just paying for it. So the $500,000 came from the legislature, which of course is just all taxpayers in Minnesota. And so this is going to reduce the fees a little bit. So it says, yeah. This is just the lines. You just see the numbers and you're like, why? How is this? Anyway, so remember the fees were raised by 300%, and now it says smaller schools will pay 13% less in the new fees that were proposed in September. So instead of 300%, they're paying 287%. I mean, this is not much of a decrease. So I don't quite understand it. In any case, their budget is like $5 million. So the $500,000 that the taxpayers are kicking in, you know, is roughly 10% of that, which
You know, a lot of this stuff is taxpayer money anyway, because the schools are taxpayer funded, and then some of it, you know, if you
yes,
go to a football game, I suppose it's what, $7 or something to get into a football game.
that's right.
That comes from you or I, but
then at least it's optional. Like
that's
I have the
trickle
choice
down,
to attend
you know.
a football game or not. Right.
Right.
So
Right. But originally the money comes from the school.
yeah,
And at
through
some
property
point,
taxes.
right. And at some point they had to front it.
Yeah. I think the thing that gets me about this is I'm not crying for big schools. This really hurts the small schools. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It says it here. Excuse me. Here it is. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the key paragraph. Basically, this one school's, it's a smaller school district, says that their per pupil fee dropped from, you know, roughly $33 down to $28, while the big schools are at like under $5 per pupil. So that's the disparity that kind of gets me. It's like really, you know, it's, you know, there's a huge emphasis on equality and equity and all of this stuff. Well, okay, this is almost, you know, a factor of 10 in disparity. So I don't know if that could be corrected, but in any case, this is just to update kind of on what's going on with high school sports in Minnesota. And now I guess the other big news that goes along with that is football's done, right? Is that right?
Yeah. Football's over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, technically it's paused, but by the time they restart, you can't play. It's January.
Right. Due to the latest shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. So I don't know. I found that kind of interesting, and just the huge disparity between small schools and big schools like really struck me. Do you know what it is for your school district?
I don't.
Well,
I'd guess somewhere in between.
Yeah. Now, in other news, I guess we don't really have a lot of Twins news this week, other than Trevor Bauer is still not signed.
Right. But Charlie
Morton's off the table.
Yeah, he went to the Braves for just 1 year, $15 million.
Yeah. But there is some kind of Twins news, and that is for the past 10, 12 years, the Rochester Red Wings in Rochester, New York, were the Twins AAA affiliate. And in case you don't know, there's a huge upheaval in baseball right now with basically the owners want to eliminate as many minor league teams as they can because it costs them thousands of dollars per year out of their $1 billion organization, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. I mean, it's like a rounding error on their overall profits, but somehow the owners I don't quite, to me, it seems so short-sighted, very much penny wise, pound foolish, that the owners want to eliminate all these minor league teams that are really good. I mean, you and I didn't really grow up in a town with a minor league team, but if a lot of people do, and a lot of people love those teams, of course, St. Paul Saints is a good example, but also up in Fargo, right? It's the Red Hawks. And anyway, all over the Midwest, there's a bunch of them in Iowa, and these teams get like really big followings locally, and it's exciting. I've been to a couple minor league baseball games. They're always really exciting, and they're really fun, and they're cheap, entertaining.
They're just silly. It's fun entertainment.
Yeah.
They do silly things every half inning, and it's
Right.
fun.
It's the thing that's kind of missing now that baseball is such a huge business compared to, say, 50 or 80 years ago.
Right. And Bill Murray owns part of the St. Paul Saints.
Oh, really?
The Twins actually want to make their AAA affiliate the St. Paul Saints. But for some reason, the Saints would have to pay the Twins $20 million.
It's kind of like a buy-in fee. Yeah. But
shouldn't the Twins be supporting the AAA club? Not the other way around?
They do in like they get so it's almost like a franchise fee. So you get all the marketing materials,
because they get the players,
and you get the TV. There's got to be a TV deal in there, and you get the players. You don't have to like independently find these players. They're kind of given to you, and they're also taken away from you. There's benefits both ways. Now the St. Paul Saints, they're actually like an award-winning team in terms of profit. Like
they're in the independent league.
Wonderfully run, like in terms of like sheer business and like profitability, they're great. They're like tops. I think the people write stories about them, and
it helps to be in a metro area of 3 million people,
right? As opposed to say Fargo or Aberdeen, South Dakota, or
where your metro area is 200,000. Yeah, so that that little disparity there, but.
I think the general idea, now this is going to make sense and then I'm going to contradict it, but at first it kind of makes sense. I think the general idea throughout baseball is to kind of get your minor league teams geographically close to the major league club, which kind of makes sense if you've got guys moving up and down between, levels in the organization.
Well, Wild do that, right? They have the Iowa Wild.
That's right.
They call it 35W. It's what they call it. So,
yeah. And so that beats flying all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
However, on a day-to-day basis for a player who's in AA or AAA, mostly they're playing other AA and AAA teams. So it actually would make sense if all the AA teams were like in one geographic region, regardless of where their parent ball club is. There's travel either way, and there's obviously more day-to-day travel for the players to go from one city to the next as they play their games day after day after day. And so that becomes more challenging when you are located near where your major league club is. And I don't know all of the different minor league leagues and their locations, but a lot of them are geographically based. And in any case, I've heard that the St. Paul Saints, like it's a done deal. They're just waiting on some minor unimportant signatures or some agreements to be reached. And so there's been no official announcement, but basically the Twins have been eyeing the St. Paul Saints for quite a while, I guess. And then this year was kind of the test drive because they were the host stadium for what did they call the backup squad?
Yeah, whatever it was.
Practice squad.
Yeah. Well, it'd be kind of nice because, they can really promote Royce Lewis if he plays for the Saints. See Royce Lewis. Go see Alex Kirilloff. All you have to do is go to St. Paul.
You can
watch him play. It's kind of neat. There's not going to be as many surprises that way. That's
right. Yep. And easier for the players when they do get called up. Like you don't have to get a new apartment or anything. But in any case, I bring this webpage up because the Twins cut the Red Wings loose about 2-3 weeks ago, and now they're officially the AAA affiliate of the Washington Nationals, which kind of goes in the face of the idea of being close. Like Rochester, New York is not geographically close to Washington, D.C. It's closer than
it was to
Minneapolis is,
Yeah.
but you still got to fly on an airplane to get there. So what does it matter if you fly 2 hours this way or an hour and a half that way? It's like effectively not any closer.
I don't know. Does Rochester have a big airport?
No. It's like Fargo. I mean, they do have an airport, which you can buy plane tickets there.
Okay.
But no, it's like Fargo or Grand Forks or something. So, anyway, so that's what we have for baseball.
Yeah, not a whole lot of baseball news at the moment,
No, mostly it
starts getting
free agent market, and
it starts getting cranked up over the winter meetings after that. So
right, and I think there's no winter meetings this year. It's all just Zoom.
Yeah, it's online.
Yeah, so which, I mean, obviously I've never been to the winter meetings, but I've heard that like the fun part is that you go and you run into famous old ball players and managers, and like it makes for a lot of good social interaction, which literally is the reason we're not having it this year. Social interaction bad. So anyway, okay, so you want to talk about the lovely faces on this page?
Oh yes,
big news this week. Timberwolves.
So here we got some Timberwolves news this week. Of course, last week we were kind of talking about the draft and watching it really in real time. And Anthony Edwards was picked number 1 overall, which, maybe next year Anthony Edwards would have gone 10, 20, somewhere in that range. So let's keep that in mind. But the other news, there's 2 other big news on the Timberwolves market is they re-signed Malik Beasley, and he has he got a 4-year $60 million deal. He's top left.
There he is.
And he is in the news right now for some not good reasons, some assault reasons. So he's been accused of assault and stuff, and I think possession of marijuana or something. And so he was re-signed for 4 years, $60 million. So they must have enough info to think that he's going to get off with a fine or some community service, maybe something like that. They did re-sign Hernan Gomez, number 41 there, and he got a 3-year deal, $21 million. He's a power forward. He might start for the club.
Does the FA mean free agent?
Yeah.
Is that what that means?
Yeah. So he re-signed. He'll probably get some starting time at the 4 spot. He's a power forward. Malik, I thought the Beasley signing was a little bit odd. He plays the same position as Anthony Edwards. So is he going to take time from Anthony Edwards? Yeah. Unless they have a different role for Edwards. You're kind of looking at the 2 spot there. The off guard position. Okay. And Culver's probably your 3, your small forward. And of course, Towns is your 5.
Right.
And then of course, D'Angelo is your number 1. But then they also brought back Ricky Rubio. And he will be, I'm thinking he'll get some starting time too with the backcourt of, who am I forgetting? Why am I talking about? I just said his name. Can't think of it. With D'Angelo Russell. But he also will be the backup point guard to D'Angelo Russell too. So you're always going to have good ball handlers on the club. And what Ricky Rubio brings to the club is tremendous defense. And they don't have a whole lot of defense out there. When you're looking at the team, there's Okogie is a good defender, and Ricky Rubio is a good defender. And Culver's a decent defender. Otherwise, you're not looking at a whole lot of defense. So the knock on Edwards, of course, is he coasts and he doesn't play defense. The knock on Towns is he is not a good defender. He's just kind of average. And the knock on D'Angelo Russell is he doesn't understand or know what defense is. So that's kind of what we're looking at. looking at a club here, it could put up 125 points a game and probably let up 130.
So yeah, in the draft,
it's an improved team.
Anthony Edwards went number 1. But we're talking about how this year was a bad year, but he's still like a first round draft pick in a normal year.
Anthony Edwards has talent to be an all-star. He's a freak athlete. His ceiling is extremely high. He's got a decent floor. But is he going to amount to anything, or is he going to be an all-star? Or is he going to be Andrew Wiggins? I'm leaning towards an Andrew Wiggins. Still, for this club, I don't know if I would have taken LaMelo Ball.
Yep.
And I would not have drafted Wiseman because he got Towns. So
right.
So your choice was pretty obvious, I thought, if you're going to keep the pick. So
it's funny to me that they even kept the pick, but
they maybe didn't have a good trade option.
Yeah. So yeah, because it's not like, again, there weren't like superstars that we do get some years.
Right, like when we drafted Towns.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is the new roster. Have you heard when the season starts?
I think it's December 22nd. I don't know if the Wolves play on December 22nd. It's 22nd or 23rd, depending on, the Lakers or whoever probably starts on 22nd. It's probably like 4 games or something. And then the season really kicks off on the 23rd.
Let me see if it's been posted yet.
But they're an improved club over last year. You got Towns, who is ranked in a tier 3 position, 3A tier player, which means he's like top 20 in the NBA. You got D'Angelo Russell, who's a tier 5, and he is, ranked, he's probably like a 40th top 40 player in the NBA. So you got a couple guys in the top 40-ish range, and that's good. You got some pieces there. So now you got to...
Here it says that the schedule is still tentative.
Yeah.
That preseason will be December 11th through 19th, tentative. And
which is really short.
Yeah, you're right that December 22nd will be the first games. And then the first half of the regular season will end March 4th. Again, all tentative. There are no specific games posted yet.
Yeah.
In terms of scheduling, it's not out. So cool. Anything else you want to say about the new Timberwolves club roster?
No.
I think it's exciting.
Work in progress.
They added some talent, and let's hope it pays off, because there's one team in Minnesota that has added talent over the past couple of years, and it just paid off this week. And we can see some highlights. Minnesota United. Did you watch the game, Joe?
I only watched a little bit of it.
Oh, it's really good.
I watched. I still don't understand how they didn't score on this one play. It was 3-on-1, and one disappeared.
So the Minnesota United won the match 3-0 over the Colorado Rapids. The score of the game, I think, should have been 5-2. There were like multiple shots by both teams on like essentially empty nets, and they missed. But here we can watch the first one. This is at the 20.
United has the ball, throws it in. Nice little behind the back.
And then there's another one here, over, boom, in it goes.
What's the goalie doing there?
I don't know what he's doing.
Sometimes I wonder why they have a goalie. They just stand around.
Yeah. So here's
what are you doing? Move your body.
Let me go back here. So this is another play. This is at 30-minute mark. You can see he kind of steals it.
This is what I saw.
This is 3-on-1.
How did they not score?
Empty end. Crazy.
Either shoot it in or pass it to the guy literally standing by himself.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
I saw that. I was like, what? How'd they miss that? I could have scored there.
And then here's the one by Colorado where it's just that was like pretty good defense too, but
nice job by the defender. Did more than the goalie.
Lifts it, if he just elevated the ball a little bit, it totally would have gone in. And another one where they have the numbers.
That looked like it was offsides there.
Yeah. There, yep.
Same play.
Oh, yeah, that was the same play. But yeah, just so many missed opportunities by both teams. And then boom, just another one where they totally missed. Anyway, really some really great. This is at the 53-minute mark. Another score.
So who do the United play next?
So, that's a good question. So the next game, I think, is Sunday, and they play. I was just looking up the stats too. Sporting Kansas City. So, the next match. Oh no, I'm sorry. The next match is Wednesday, December 2nd. So that's the conference.
They get a lot of time off. Wow.
They do. Yep.
Are they still figuring out the first round or what?
Well, here, hold on. So I've got you see this?
Yep.
Yeah. So we're up here.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all set. So two of them will be November 29th, and then this one, FC Dallas and Seattle, will be December 1st, and then actually somehow Minnesota is the last one against Sporting KC, and that's on December 2nd. Now, the United are a bit of an underdog in this match. They lost twice this fall to Sporting Kansas City. And Kansas City, I don't know if they've lost at home. So the game is not in Minnesota. It's in Kansas City. And Kansas City has not lost there in a very long time. But I don't know. We'll see. It'll be good. I plan on watching again.
Hey, they won a game.
They won the first playoff game. And, this is from a team that was
the Twins have won.
Really terrible a couple of years ago. They started in 2017. First 2-3 seasons were very bad for Minnesota United. So it's just great to see some success. Yeah, exactly. They've won more playoff games than the Twins have in the last 2 decades. So
they got a sweet logo. Sporting Kansas City's got a cool logo too, and I like Seattle's logo.
Yep.
Orlando City. Whoa, I don't know. They got to work on their logo.
Yeah.
Columbus has a cool logo.
I like Toronto FC. So
oh yeah.
The field is just over there.
Well, and the Red Bull New York. That's sweet.
Yeah.
Kind of unfair because Red Bull is their own logo. So
yeah, exactly. So anyway, it was a great match to watch. It was fun. Will was like watching with me. He's like, "Dad, this is awesome."
I can't get my kids to watch sports with me, except Alyssa will watch some football randomly. Dad, what team are we cheering for? Are we cheering for the purple team?
The one that's losing. That's how you know.
No, honey, we're not cheering for either team, but we're cheering against the green team.
That's right. Speaking of teams in purple that like to lose, should we chat about that?
Yeah, the Vikings played Dallas and the refs on Sunday. They played 11 against 18, and they lost. So as you could see on this highlight, that the number 37 there for Dallas comes in and nails Kirk Cousins right in the helmet.
Yep.
Helmet. Even with right there. And that's not called. He steals the ball, which is, hey, give props to Wilson. Stole the ball right out of Cousins' hand. They replay it. They award the ball to Dallas as a fumble.
Yep.
Bizarre rule that they can't look at the illegal play that gave them the ball and overturn it and actually call a 15-yard penalty on Dallas because that's actually what happened. And so it's just bizarre that they can't do that. But anyway, so Dallas goes up. Which highlight is this here?
They missed the extra point.
Yeah.
And then Dalvin Cook brings it home.
Yep. Touchdown.
Yeah. And yeah, there were a lot of just bad. Well, okay.
Okay. So
here's another one that. So let's set this up. So it's 3rd and 14. They don't get the first down, and so it's 4th and 10, and it's a fake punt.
Which I'm not sure Zimmer even knew he had in his bag. I think this might have been just an audible, because if you go back and look, the defender leaves the gunner. He just leaves the gunner alone. He runs in, leaves the gunner alone. So the gunner just raises his hand up like this.
Right here.
And the punter sees him. See him?
Yep.
And he gets so excited that he's moving and he's not reset. But I don't understand. Is that illegal on a punt? Because if you're moving in motion on offense, as long as you're not moving towards the line of scrimmage, it's legal to play. So I'm not sure why this was illegal, unless it's just too far out. Because jet sweeps, the guy is moving and the play goes and they hand the ball to him.
Yeah.
Or they fake it.
He may have been like covering up the what do they call it? I don't know. But they didn't call that. They called like illegal motion
They called illegal motion. So it's because he's moving. He never resets. But that's what I'm arguing. I guess I don't understand. But maybe just on this type of play, they can't.
Is he technically considered a receiver? Like an eligible receiver?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So he should be allowed to go in motion.
He should be, but he's just kind of dancing over there. He's not really.
But he's not moving. If you look at it, he's not moving towards the line. So it just must be a rule. Yeah. But yeah, it's a great play. I'm glad Colquitt saw it and delivered a strike to him.
Yeah.
Celebrates first down, but then they call it a legal penalty. Yeah. Now, but the most craziest, dumbest thing blew my mind that I saw in this whole game was the offensive 15-yard face mask against the Vikings with the guy who had the ball and stiff armed the defender.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even know this was a league. You could even call this.
He's got the ball.
I've never seen this called in my life.
It was just ridiculous. Yeah.
The guy with the ball is allowed to stiff arm.
Right.
Luckily, the play didn't matter because the next play, Justin Jefferson makes a big play, but it's just the whole point of it.
Yeah. I agree with you. That play was ridiculous. But we can watch another good
normal play for Thielen.
Just amazing Thielen.
Who does that remind you of? Another number 80 who used to play for the Vikings.
Yeah. And here's a good Cook. Anyway, what other plays were you wanting to talk about? I just, there's so many ridiculous penalties. I mean, the refs set the tone at the beginning of the game. They made it clear, Vikings, sorry, you got to lose. You know,
it's pretty much accurate.
Yeah.
The refs influence this game majorly. They never influence the right way for the Vikings in any game I ever see. And don't at me with the Saints last year. Okay. Remember that play that Rudolph pushed off? Well, the only reason he's pushing off is because he's getting mugged by the defender. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Keep that in mind, people, when you show me the meme. Look at it before. Anyway, what was more ridiculous than this game was the game that the little bit of the game I watched afterwards of the Packers game.
Okay.
The refs called 5 straight offensive holding calls against the Colts. 5 straight. Now they were legit
really
calls.
Needed to get the Packers.
They were legit calls.
Well, yeah, you can call a hold on every call. Yeah.
Then the Packers take over with the ball. They have to go about 80, 90 yards to get a touchdown and score. So Aaron Rodgers drops back and he's in the end zone. The defender is in the end zone. Bakhtiari on the left-hand side is the tackle, left tackle. and he mugs the Colts defensive end. Mugs him, holds him like crazy, grabs him, practically tackles him. I didn't see any flag come out. That should have been a safety. Okay.
So
should have been a safety. And
after this?
Wasn't called. No, it's the Packers. It was like a 50-yard throw by Aaron Rodgers to the middle of the field. And he is in the end zone when he throws it. And in the end zone is when the hold is called. So it must have been just before this play. Okay, no, yeah, that's an overtime. It was the play before this play.
Okay. Let's take a look. Okay. So Rodgers back
right here. Now watch this. Okay, number right here, 69 on the left-hand side. You see it? Go back.
Yeah, okay. Hold on.
And look at it. He ends up down by just past the 50.
Let me make this big. Hopefully they'll have they didn't have a highlight. So okay, we'll go back.
Okay. The next, not this one. Play before this.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, now. Okay, sir. Okay, Aaron Rodgers. Now look at the left tackle. Bakhtiari, number 69 on the left-hand side. Right there.
Right here? Yeah.
Yep, watch him.
Okay.
All right, scroll, roll. Okay, good. Okay, now go back. Okay, watch the defender. As he gets right here, he's going to get around him, right?
Right here. Yep,
right there. Watch him. So he's getting around him. Just grabs him. Look at it. That's offensive holding right there.
Yep, and look at one guy looking right at him.
He's not looking at him, but this guy down here is.
Yeah.
And look at Aaron Rodgers in the end zone. This play is in the end zone. This is a safety.
Really?
2 points for Colts, and they should be getting the ball. So
if you have a hold
in the end zone,
it's a safety?
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
That is a safety. That is 2 points for the Colts right there. That should have been called. Instead, what happens is the Packers get down to the 50-yard line.
Yep.
Now, the Packers end up losing this game.
Yep. That's the important thing right here.
Right. But stop it, NFL. Just stop it. Stop trying to put the Packers in. Stop trying to put the Cowboys in. And just call fair games.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to make a mistake here or there because you're human beings. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with this. What just occurred in these two games. Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care that you care so much about money. You have to cheat.
Mm-hmm.
Stop.
This is not wrestling.
Just stop.
Yep. Yeah.
Packers are the worst 7-3 team I've ever seen in my life. Unreal.
Oh, boy. Yep.
And I'm not saying the Vikings deserved to win that game. They probably did not. But goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Call a fair game.
The Vikings special teams.
They don't have special teams.
Is not special.
No.
It is quite ordinary.
Just keep going. Just consider it 4-down territory no matter what.
Yeah. It's really embarrassing that. And here's the thing.
Did you know they have 13 punt return yards the whole year?
But here's the thing is for the Vikings. Now, the Vikings have basically always had special teams trouble, but it's usually been isolated to like Blair Walsh, or Gary Anderson's missed kick. It's like always the kicker. But here it's like they can't their punter.
There's a block in the back on someone who's not even a blocker.
Yeah, it's weird penalties. People don't know what they're doing on kickoffs, on punt returns, like every special teams play. It's like, oh great, who's gonna blow this one? And so it's not just one team. It's like the whole unit. Like every aspect of special teams is struggling right now. So it's very hard to fix when it's like everybody is playing poorly.
The kicker could neutralize a lot of this though.
Yeah.
Not the block punts earlier in the year. Those are not on the kicker.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he fumbles the ball or something. But if you kick it on a punt and you kick it out of bounds, the guy can't return it. If you kick it into the end zone so deep, the guy can't return it.
That's right. Yeah.
Neutralize them.
Yeah. It just
Stop letting them return the ball.
Yeah, especially like against a person
like Cordero Patterson.
Like,
what are you
know what
doing?
he's capable of. You very, very, very much know what that guy is.
I would hope so. He scored 5 touchdowns for you.
Jeez. I don't know. It's bad choices. It's bad execution. It's hard to say what's wrong. Like everything about the unit is just struggling.
Very much. And it's easy to say what's wrong with our defense. We're extremely young. They get out of position. They don't always know what's going on.
And who's injured?
And then they have Harrison.
Who's injured? Like everyone. Like
Anthony Barr, Daniil Hunter. Then you have, Harrison Smith, who can't even like play football anymore without getting an offensive penalty on him. The left defensive tackle for the right defensive end for the Cowboys is allowed to hit our quarterback in the face.
Yep.
Harrison Smith makes a textbook tackle and gets called for a 15-yard penalty. Adam Thielen got mugged down by the end zone. There was no 15-yard penalty there, which I didn't think there should have been, by the way.
Okay.
But here, that was a worse hit than Harrison Smith's.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've been complaining about this for years. And the thing is it's not just like we're jilted Vikings fans because like we see the bad calls and so we're biased. Like you can tune into pretty much any NFL game and just by watching the refs, you can see who they want to win. Probably they don't care if it's Cleveland Browns versus
if the Detroit Lions are playing the Vikings, they could care less.
That's right. But it's when a big money team like the Cowboys or Green Bay
or now Tampa.
Yep. With
used to be the Patriots, for goodness sakes.
Yep. There's just a lot of bias, and the Vikings
San Fran
have never had one of those like superstar, the best player on the planet. Well, I mean Randy Moss, okay, maybe, but I don't know. Vikings have always been on the receiving end of it, so it's never felt very good. But the point is, it's like you were pointing out the Green Bay game. When you call 5 holding calls in a row, it's just so transparent, and I don't know. It detracts from the entertainment value,
and we shouldn't even be talking about it. It's a moot point. What are you doing?
Yeah,
you don't even try to hide it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that's our rant about the Vikings. So let's see. We both
Carolina
got that one
comes
wrong.
to town.
We both got that one wrong, Joe.
Yeah, Carolina comes to town this Sunday, and that means a return of Teddy Bridgewater.
Maybe. Is he back?
I don't know. He'll be on the team.
Well, yeah, but I think he's out, right?
I can't recall.
So the Vikings are, what are they now? 4-6?
4-6. Yeah, essentially, if they lose in our game, they're probably out.
I mean, they're pretty much already almost out.
Yep.
But I can give a little look here at their playoff odds. Always kind of
17, I think.
17%.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, 20. It says here on 538 anyway. And if they beat Carolina, it goes all the way up to 26.
Well, they're a team that nobody really wants to play, though, because they're certainly capable of beating anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so if they beat Carolina and they beat Jacksonville, their playoff odds go all the way up to 29%. So that kind of
which they probably should win those 2 games.
Yeah,
especially the Jacksonville game.
Neither of those teams is very good. Then again, the Cowboys weren't very good, and the Cowboys got help, but the Vikings didn't do themselves a lot of favors, so they didn't execute. They got a lot.
It'd be nice to get some pressure on the quarterback.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me when you're playing defense, the goal for like the front 4 is to like get to the quarterback and like sack him? I thought you kind of only took a couple steps and then stopped. That's what I.
Well, no, you try to get to the quarterback, hit him in the helmet.
That's right.
And then good things happen.
That's right. Yeah, and then you can steal the ball when he drops it.
When he getting knocked out. Yeah.
Yep. No, that would be the Saints for intentionally targeting quarterbacks, destroying their careers.
So. But it seems like the Vikings have had the Saints number since they cheated. So.
Well, it doesn't help us go back in time and win a Super Bowl.
So. No, it doesn't. Vikings probably would have won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Anyway, what's our next topic? Anything?
That's all I had on my list, unless you had anything else.
Excellent. I don't have anything else. No, just
I've got trivia.
Looking forward to Thanksgiving, All right. Hit me with the trivia.
So I don't actually know. I got to think about how best to word my trivia question. Okay. Here's maybe the best way to word it. Can you describe all the types of kicks that occur in an NFL game?
You mean like a kickoff?
Sure.
A field goal, a punt. There's a free kick.
So some of those are
I suppose a punt is a free kick.
Yep. So some of those are place kicks,
mm-hmm.
and some of those are punts. Are there?
You could do a drop kick.
Yeah,
it's legal.
That was the one I was looking for.
It's legal. No one ever does it, but.
Do you know how to define a drop kick?
I think it hits the ground, bounces, and then you kick it.
That's right. Yeah, and the crazy thing is, you could do that on any play, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So you could at any time, any team could just run a play where they drop kick it, but you could also do a drop kick on. So you can do a drop kick for a kickoff if you really wanted to. It would be a bad idea, but you could do it.
Well, Duff, I got a question for you. Mm-hmm. If you're at the 50-yard line because of penalty, why would you not do an onside kick?
Wait a minute. What do you mean?
So there was a penalty on the extra point, or the 2-point conversion, and you end up at the 50-yard line and you're kicking off. Wouldn't you just do an onside kick? Give yourself a shot at getting the ball.
That makes sense to me. I mean, you probably give the other team pretty good field position, though.
I guess.
At the 40. I don't know. Somebody must have run those numbers because it's not clear to me. Like, I would imagine
nobody on the Vikings would have ran those numbers.
Well, that's true. The Vikings are too stupid. But you'd think Bill Belichick, would have figured this out. But so I had heard this term drop kick, and I always associated that with what you do for a punt. You kind of just drop the ball and kick it. But that's not at all what a drop kick is. A drop kick is you drop it on the ground, it bounces up, and then you kick it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't even aware that this was like a thing. So I'm impressed that you knew it.
Oh.
Do you know the most famous drop kick of all time?
No.
It was somebody's very final play, Doug Flutie.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to watch?
Sure.
It's like the only time a drop kick has ever worked in NFL history since the 1940s. So this was like 2009. So Doug Flutie is like the backup quarterback. This is the last game of the season. And New England, it doesn't matter if they win or lose this game for New England. And so that you can see it's the fourth quarter, they're behind. So yeah, they send Doug.
Is he going to try to kick a field goal here?
Yeah. No,
okay.
This is the extra point. So they so they'd already scored the touchdown, and so this is like the point after. And
sure.
So they kind of initially lined up like a 2-point conversion, and then you saw him kind of jump.
He dropped back, yeah.
Drop back, and so.
Like, what is he doing?
Yeah. So he drop kicks it.
It was hard to see it hit the ground.
Yeah, they zoom in later.
It looked like a punt, like there.
Yeah.
Look at Bill. Look how young Belichick looks there.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, hit the ground.
It hit the ground. It kind of bounced up a little bit. It was almost simultaneous, but it did bounce up a little bit.
Yeah.
And apparently they asked him afterward if he'd been practicing. He's like, "Oh yeah, I've been practicing forever. Like I love drop kicks." And so it was just like a dream. Apparently, a lot of players have this like dream of doing drop kicks. and they like practicing it because it's just such a quirky play.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be, so the history basically is drop kicks used to be really popular until they changed the shape of the football in like the 1940s. American football used to be more rounded, like a rugby ball, and people would drop kick all the time because you could be
get a true bounce.
Yeah, you get like a true bounce. But then in like 1941 or something, they changed the ball to be more like kind of cone shaped, sharper, and that's so they could pass it more. And they achieved that result. You can throw passes really far with a modern football, but as a result, it goes crazy when you bounce it, right? So basically nobody does drop kicks anymore, but the Doug Flutie one is just like
big grins.
You know, it's every couple years somebody tries a drop kick. Sometimes they're accidental, like the punter will be doing a punt and drops the ball and just kicks it. Like, it's okay, you can do that.
It's legal.
And so anyway, so yeah, you can kind of look that up on Wikipedia if you want. They list a whole bunch. Basically, none of them work except for the one Doug Flutie play. So
love it.
All right,
that's
good.
fun.
That's all I've got, Joe.
I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving out there. All our American friends. Yeah. And just remember to keep safe over the holidays. It's gonna be a rough patch here, rough go. So just remember to be kind to everyone, grow your own food, and John 3:16.